So before we start and before I go to the stage, I want to ask a question. Do you know, does anyone know, by 2030, how many people or workers globally will need to switch their roles due to automation? Just imagine, what would be the number? How many millions of workers globally out of the 7-8 billion population we have? 150 million. Higher, lower? Higher? Just guess a number. 1 billion. Okay, so the answer actually is in between. So it is almost 400 million workers by 2030 that will need to switch due to automation their roles. So this is almost 5% of the global population. Imagine that. So change is not coming. Change is already here. And this is something building on what Hassan and Fahd were saying, that change is the only constant that we have. So how we lead through it will define our organization's future. And we're talking today to the hearts of the company, which are HR functions. So my name is Zaghloul. That's the nickname. Originally, I'm Mostafa Zaghloul. I used to work for the last couple of years for a couple of mega multinationals like Unilever, Mars, Henkel, SC Johnson, within different countries. In the last 22 years, I've managed 22 categories and 22 countries within the greater Middle East. I'm originally Egyptian, but German educated. And I'm saying that because it shapes a bit my personality. So the humbleness of being an Egyptian, which is very close to being a Pakistani, by the way. I always tell the guys it's my second visit, but I already feel home because Karachi and Cairo, so Pakistan and Egypt are very close in terms of people, city, crowd, whatever. So I'm very proud of having this experience. But also the German way of doing business, because of my whole education, is still embedded in my DNA. So I used to be a professional soccer player, like Omer said. I used to play for the national team of Egypt, soccer. I stopped for a while, which I'll tell you the story behind, but I'm still playing till now. I'm a very sportsaholic person, so I used to play handball, I used to play judo, yoga, so I'm into sports a lot. And I'm blessed with Ismail and Khadija. Ismail is 18 years old and entered university just last month, and Khadija is 15 years old. My motto in life is, I can and I will. So there is no impossible. Okay, so today we'll be talking about change, thriving in change, changing environments. I'll be sharing with you a personal story that is touching a lot my personality and ego inside when I always tell it, but I will also share with you a couple of corporate strategies that we should always consider as organizations when going through change. So why do we need to change now and not later? 4 reasons. So the first reason is the rapid technological, economical, societal change are forcing organizations to evolve. Because if you don't evolve, you won't cope with the change, you will be missed out. Second reason is there is a cost of resisting change. And it's proven through one of the researches that 143% loss of ROI, return on investment, will be lost if you resist the change. Third, it's about leadership. It's about leaders. It's about us. It's not about processes when we talk about change. Yes, processes are good to apply, but the responsibility of putting those processes, of managing change, is through leaders. And last but not least, you know the change curve, so it's an organizational approach. It's not the responsibility of the CEO of the organization or the HR function of the organization to drive change. No. It's a full organizational responsibility. And it's proven that, that companies who do successful change management are 6 times more likely to perform better than those who do bad change management. Okay, so with that, let me tell you my personal story and how is it related to change. I got graduated from school, from university, and this was 1998, and then university 2002. I was, like you see, without laughing, this is how I looked like, a fancy guy, hanging out. I was a professional soccer player, as I told you, so this is my team that I used to play in the very early stages. And I worked in a multinational, which I started with Unilever in Egypt. I got married later on, and then I got blessed with 2 kids. So actually, I was living a very happy life, a dream life that everyone would love to have. In terms of personal, career-wise, everything was great. But in the stage of 2017 till 2020, my life changed in unfortunate, horrible incidents that happened all together in only 4 years. The first thing that happened, I lost my father, my role model. And this was 2000, end of 16, beginning 17. And then I got divorced after 15 years of marriage, which impacted my kids, not only us as partners, but also psychologically. My kids were not that old, so they were really impacted. And we used to live abroad, out of our country. And this is how I looked by then. I started to stop sports. I started to eat like hell. I reached 140 kgs. Imagine, a barrel, a moving barrel, with all these disruptions that happen in my life. That's on the personal life. But surprisingly, because everything comes together, on my career life, I was asked within the same period to leave the fancy life of Dubai and move back to Egypt in an assignment with one of the global multinationals that I used to work for. And you could say that this is normal. Yeah, but this is the worst time to go back to Egypt. After revolution, devaluations, poor economical performance, political instability, and I was asked to manage a new sub-region, which is Africa, from Egypt, okay, and to manage new functions. I'm originally from sales. I was asked to manage different functions that I never worked for. And after that, I was given the choice to continue after this role in something that I didn't like or to be part of a restructure. So I lost my job. To add whatever happened to my personal life and career life, COVID came. So within those 4 years, I was really mentally not okay. I won't say I would commit suicide at that time, alhamdulillah, but anyone that could face those challenges at the same time won't be stable. Mentally, I was not okay. Physically, I was not okay. My family was not okay. So accordingly, I think I needed to go through a mindset shift, a paradigm shift. I needed to accept the status quo. I needed to adapt. Simply, I needed to press the perseverance button. Why? What was needed simply? Change. That's why I'm sharing with you the story. Let me tell you, what did I do to change the whole status quo? I decided by that time, I won't stay still. I will do whatever it takes to change my life. I was a successful person in my personal life. I was a successful father in the beginning. I was successful in my career. The mic is not successful now. But, so, I'll tell you, I went to a nutritionist. I went to a psychiatrist. I brought my kids to a psychiatrist. I started to get closer to my family. I started to search for better jobs to get back to my career. I started to play sports, to lose weight. I started to do every single tiny and big thing to change my whole life. Fast forward, to save your time, let me show you what this change is reflecting as of after 2020 till today. This is how I look today, from 2018 to 2024, from 140 kgs to 82 kgs standing in front of you. I go to the gym every day. I'm 43 years old, and I still go to the gym every day. I went back to be a professional soccer player. I play in a professional league in Dubai, above 40 years, 11 aside, with referees, with linesmen. Yes, and I'm 43. Every week we play. I am standing in front of you proudly, fit within my career. I went back to multinationals. I'm having general management roles and C-suite roles. I'm being a public speaker, a keynote speaker, and a trainer. So I'm back in my career. I took it one step forward. I am an angel investor and a silent partner in a couple of private businesses in Egypt and UAE. And I'm proud that I've raised my kids. And currently, you can see the difference in the picture. Ismail is now entering the college, so it's paying out. Khadija is 15. So with pride, I'm telling you, change happened. So now let me tell you, this was the personal story to try and inspire you and try to tell you, if you change this thing here, which is the mindset, everything is doable. Let me share with you now 5 strategies in terms of corporate directions that we need to focus when we talk about change management. I know if you open the topic of change management, everyone will be talking about adaptability, acceptance, emotions, taking care of people, empowerment. Yes, those are all right. But let me share with you today 5 unique strategies that maybe not everyone will be unlocking or tracing with real-life examples. So, first one is you need to anchor the change in your organizational purpose. Why? Because purpose provides clarity in chaos. And with each strategy, I'll tell you an example. So Disney is our hero here. Disney's purpose was always to deliver joy and happiness to their clients or customers in their parks. When COVID came, no one was going to their parks. They were almost losing and collapsing the business because the only revenue stream, or the major revenue stream, was in closure. So within their purpose of bringing joy and happiness, they decided that they will repurpose that to bring the joy and happiness to people at home. So they've put a chunk of investment in Disney Plus, which is the online platform similar to the Netflix. It's within their purpose to bring the joy and happiness. And currently, after COVID, parks are back, and they have an incremental revenue stream, which is Disney Plus. So this is a real-life example of applying this strategy. Second strategy, empower change champions. Why? Because champions drive momentum. And a very good example of that is Google. So there was a very famous big project for Google called Project Oxygen. What they did is, before they launched the project, they started to assign a couple of champions, and their role was to change the behavior of leaders and functions in the organizations aside from whatever they do. They wanted to embed new competencies, new behaviors to drive this change. And it worked in this project onwards. The third strategy is leverage data and analytics. Why? Because data removes all the obstacles and brings reality to life. A real good example is Amazon. We all know the global player. Amazon is one of the best, if not the best company on the planet in terms of supply chain, customer service, customer centricity, customer whatever you name it, is one of the best in the world. And what they usually do is, before going scale in any of the projects, they pilot their project with analytics and data, then it proves success. Accordingly, they decide whether they go in scale to make it bigger, to execute it regionally or globally, or not. So that's a real-life example, how and why you should use data and analytics. Number 4 is, and I love this one, normalize failures as learnings. Why? Because failure is a stepping stone. A good example of that is Tesla's production hell for Model 3. They faced a lot of issues in this launch, Model 3, and they've turned all the learnings they had, all the failures, all the challenges they had into successes to surpass all the deliverables in the subsequent models that they've launched after Model 3. So this is a real-life example. Last one, and the 5th, is prioritize mental well-being. I know that this word you hear a lot in corporate and personal life, but it really matters. So mental well-being is something that I think should be close, and I'm sure that it's already close to every single heart, especially the HR leaders in any organization. A good example of that is Unilever. Unilever has launched a transformational project in terms of sustainability, and it's one of the biggest on the planet. Okay? Why did they do that? Because they believe that resilient people build resilient organizations. So what did they do? They actually started through this transformation project of sustainability to engage, to drive this engagement, and to bring excitement and mental health resources to their employees to make it happen. And being part of this great organization for 7 years during my career, I can tell you that it worked. So those are the 5 strategies. Accordingly, the conclusion would be 5 things I just want you to capture. The first one is define, reinforce your organizational purpose. Number 2 is cultivate the internal change advocate or change agents or change champions within the organizations. Number 3, measure and adapt your change using data and analytics. It's crucial. Number 4 is foster growth mindset and embrace improvements. And last is support team with well-being resources. Put it in your mind. Those are the 5 strategies. To conclude this, I would, guys, yeah. So the best leaders don't just react, they harness it to build the future and something extraordinary. So again, I just want to remind you guys, it all starts here. If you like what I talked about and my content, I would be very humbled to follow my LinkedIn profile, which has a lot about change management, a lot about building capability and developing organizations. Every other day, I share that. And if there are any questions, I'm very conscious about the time. I know we're over time for sure. If there are any questions I can help with now or during the day or in the corridor, I'm happy to do that. And thank you very, very, very much for giving me this opportunity, guys.